Hey guys, what's up? Dizzy Nuts here. Having problems where you have too many people crossing in front of your image when you're trying to get that one shot with nobody in it? I'm going to show you what I do right after this. Okay, how many times does that happen to you where you got your tripod set up and you're trying to take the photo and people just coming on left and right? Now, that's something that happens very often to me as well, and there's two options. One, you can either stay after the park closes, or you can try to make the best of the situation and use the technique that I'm going to show you here to be able to get a photo with the least amount of people possible. Now, this technique is not 100% fail-proof, but it will help you remove as many people as you can, and it's all dependent upon a couple of things. First, we're going to be taking multiple photos from the same location, which means we need to set the camera in a steady place. In this case, I'm using a tripod, and we're going to take multiple photos. Depending on the multiple photos that we take is the multiple possibilities that we can combine those photos to create a photo that doesn't have anybody in them. Now, the photo that we're going to use for today as an example was one that I wanted to take that had the monorail and included the lights from the Leave a Legacy. But I had the issue that the park hasn't closed yet, and to my disadvantage that day, the park was closing at 11 since it was magic hour. Now that day I didn't have the luxury of staying late, so what I did was I put the tripod in one position, took my shot of the monorail with the long exposure and all other fun stuff, and then I took a couple of shots with people on different places, and I was able to put those into Photoshop. And doing some processes and some steps, which I'm going to show you, remove most of the people of the image. Now again, this process isn't 100% fail-safe proof, and you will still get sometimes people in the image. Let's go ahead and open up Photoshop and Lightroom, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Okay, so here are our photos that I've already imported into Lightroom. Now the first thing we're going to do is edit any of the photos, just any specific one, and then we're going to basically copy all the presets over to the other one. And the way that you do that, once you finish editing, you just right click on top of the photo here, develop settings, hit copy settings, and you're going to get this option here. You can go ahead and select all, that way we don't forget anything or missing any little detail. Hit copy, and then by selecting all the other ones, and you can basically click one and then drag all the way to the end and hit the shift key and it'll select them all. You can do right click and you're going to do paste settings, and that's going to basically drop the settings on all the photos exactly the same. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is actually pick out the photos. I'll hit Control D to unselect them. Is actually pick which photos are the ones I'm going to use for a merge, and what I'm looking for here is the photos have the least people and then work my way backwards. For example, here's one which I think has the least people in it, so I'm going to go ahead and mark it with a 1 with a little star here, and I can do that doing right click and do flag. Set rating, put 1 star. You can also hit the 1 on the keyboard. And here I got some people here, so I want to look for a photo that does not have people here. And this one is, we're going to use it because this one has the monorail trail, so we're going to mark that as a 1 as well. And here is another one, which actually this part here is empty, which I'm going to use as well, so I'm going to mark that one. And then here's another one that this is the one that we had selected earlier. Here's another one which has all this area. There's nobody here, which is perfect. And this one, which doesn't have anybody in this area. You're basically looking for zones that don't have people inside of them. And for example, this area here, then this photo is good. So, and then the next photo that I picked was this one, and you can see there's nobody in the middle. And then this one, you'll see there's nobody here on the left side. So you want those type of shots, and while you're taking them, just make sure you look for those little things. Like I'm gonna make sure I take a photo with the least people on the right, least people in the middle, least people on the left. Now I will be honest, sometimes you will get you won't be able to get them all, but it's okay, and at least the least people possible, the better the photo looks. Okay, so once we do that, and we're going to go ahead and select all the ones that we marked as rating 1, and then on top of any of them, I'm going to do right click and go here under edit, and I'll do open as layers in Photoshop. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is, once they're all here loaded, we're going to make sure we select them all in the shift key or the control key, and go here on the edit, and we're going to hit auto align. And since I used the tripod for this, I don't need to worry too much, but it will maybe just tweak it a little bit on the corners, and that way we can fix the corners right away without having to do it in Lightroom when we finish here. And if you see my other videos, you know that if you turn off this little eye, you can see straight through the photo underneath. Now the way that Photoshop works with layers is that it's from the top to the bottom. In this case, you're only going to see the one on the top because it is set as normal and 100%. If I start bringing the opacity down, then it'll filter through to the one on the back. Okay, so the order is another thing that at least I like to recommend people is put the one with the monorail on the bottom. Let me see which is it. The monorail here. Okay, this one. Actually, it's already at the bottom. And I know this by hitting this eye little, and it turns it on. And that way I know which is the one that's active. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is actually put the image on the top that has the least people, and then work our way down, which is what I like to call where we patch these people out of the image. So again, I'm going to put the photo with the least people in it all the way on the top of my layers and work my way backwards. And then, like I mentioned before, we're going to leave the one of the monorail all the way at the bottom, because that one we're going to later put this into the photo. Okay, so we're going to select the top one and we're going to select the second one. And now what we're going to do is going to select this little button here, which is the mask, and that is going to allow me to paint what I want to filter through to the image that's behind it. And for example, I'm going to turn this off, and I see that here there's no people. So selecting the mask, I make sure it's black, and I put my brush, probably like 500, and I just literally paint over the people and they disappear. And I can come here and turn this off and see where the next one is. I see this lady, there's nobody here, so I'll do the same thing with her. Paint it right over here. Let's see what else. Okay, I think that's it for that image. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do, we're actually going to merge these two. Select the two of them, right click, and do merge layers. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the next two layers. I'm going to put the one underneath it and work my way down. In this case, I got some people here. Let's see what I got on the other one. Okay, I got nobody there, which is perfect. So again, I'm going to select here, select the mask on the bottom, and select my brush. I'm going to make sure it's black on the foreground, and I basically paint here. And that will disappear those people there. If you ever do a mistake, you can always select it to white and basically paint over again, and it basically does the same thing but backwards. Okay, so let's put this black. We want to hide these people. I think that's good there. Again, I could switch the layers on and off so I can see what's going on. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, we do the same thing. Select the two and do merge layers, and then work our way down to the next one. So we got these people here. Let's see if anything I can use. I don't think I can use any of this. So if we can't use anything, let's go ahead and delete the layer, hit the delete key. And then the last layer we have underneath is the one of the monorail, which is here. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Select the top layer. We're going to hit the mask button here, and then make sure that it's black with my brush, and I'm going to literally paint in the monorail. And there we go. Now I'm just painting this also, since it's a long exposure. The one of the monorail, that's why it comes out as clearer than the other ones. Now, another thing that I will recommend is when you do these type of shots, that you do try to get the one where you can freeze the people the most. For example, all these shots were done with f4 at 4 seconds, and that way I was trying to minimize the blur of the people. But you could have easily done this at ISO 200 and then gone to 2 seconds, and you get less blurry people and they're easier to filter out. But again, that's just a matter of choice. And then here we got our image. Go back, save it. Now, if you're somebody who's visiting and doesn't have that luxury of staying late every day, hopefully this technique you can use to remove the people from your photos. Now, if this is the first time watching these videos, my name is Disney Nuts, and I do theme park photography like this, as well as how-to videos in Photoshop and other fun stuff. And I also do food reviews with my wife. So if you like what you saw and you want to see more, feel free to hit that subscribe button and bell to get notified, and feel free to share these videos with your friends, and that way we keep these videos coming for you guys. Until then, guys, stay awesome. See ya.